being the hero. There is no higher calling. Saving people in the streets. Adored like gods.
Dad, that's just a fairy tale. No one here is a hero.
I am the void. There's no use fighting.
He's invincible, all-powerful, stronger than all of the Avengers rolled into one.
You don't know what I'm capable of. Maybe I need to show you.
Avengers, you're gone. No one's coming to save the day.
I think we are.
Us?
We could be the people that are coming.
Let's do this.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel dropped a brand new Thunderbolts trailer. There's a whole bunch of footage. They were at CinemaCon. They did a big special panel, released even more footage, so we'll try to add that to this. There's a couple new scenes from that other new trailer and this one together. Generally just hyping up the Sentry, billing himself as a new god in the MCU, although technically he's in the Void form, so really it's the Void that thinks of himself as a god in the MCU. The way the live-action movies have treated gods is a little bit different from the comics in the way they scale their powers, because not all gods are meant to actually have the same level of power, and there are people who are god-like, cosmic-level beings like cosmic-level power, and then there are actual gods. Probably the best example of that on the Avengers are people like Thor, who is an actual god, like they legit made him a god inside the live-action movies. Then you have beings like the Celestials, who are way more powerful, but who are cosmic beings, not actual gods. So just because you call yourself a god in the MCU doesn't mean you're actually a god, or you have divine power, or you're even the most powerful character. For example, Sentry in Void in the comics is so OP that he can basically go toe-to-toe with most cosmic-level characters. Not all of them, but most of them. For example, Null in the comics recently just ripped Sentry right in half and then absorbed the Void into himself. So Null, who did become an actual god, eventually a god of the in-between spaces between universes, the god of the in-between basically, is way more powerful than someone like Sentry in the Void. Who themselves are more powerful than pretty much all the Avengers. When you start doing power scaling and tier rankings of all the different Marvel characters, you really do have to be specific though, because characters like Scarlet Witch really do start throwing you for loops. Like, which version of Scarlet Witch are you talking about? Is this a version of Scarlet Witch that's totally unhinged? Is this a version that's totally got command of all of her abilities, her reality warping? Theoretically, she should also be one of the most powerful characters inside the MCU. But a lot of times her own relative power level just depends on her mental state. We will get into this when we get to Avengers Doomsday next year, or when we start getting the trailers for that later this year. So if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos, because it's just getting started now. These are like the last two movies this year. This, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four before Avengers Doomsday. Most of the Avengers Doomsday connections will be left for Fantastic Four though. There'll probably be a little bit of connection during the Thunderbolts movie, because the Thunderbolts will be returning during Avengers Doomsday. They were all featured, for the most part, not all of them, but pretty much all of them during Chair Watch. They even literally just made a Chair Watch joke during a recent Thunderbolts promo. The funny part about that is that while this is all going on, like while CinemaCon was happening, while they were promoting it, like all the actors came out to promote it, they were in the middle of working on Avengers Doomsday. So they already had some actors like Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards was on the set of Avengers Doomsday getting ready to film scenes. Marvel's going to be filming that for most of the rest of the year along with Secret Wars, because it'll be like Infinity War and Endgame where they film them back to back. But they start the brand new trailer footage where Yelena Belova has come to see Red Guardian at the beginning of the movie, or relatively early in the movie, just because she feels so low. Everybody, all these characters, just feel like complete crap bags, like their lives have turned to complete shit. Red Guardian is a limo driver. It's hilarious. Like, there are a whole bunch of jokes here, guarding you from a boring time. They used the whole limo joke as part of their promo for CinemaCon, like they brought all the actors in his limo. But I think part of the idea is that Yelena Belova is a big point of view character amongst all this ensemble of characters. Like, there are a couple characters that get a little bit more play in the movie than others, Yelena Belova being one of them, and Bucky being one of the others. Red Guardian goes into full dad mode, trying to give her some sage wisdom, even though he himself also feels like a complete failure and is looking for some purpose in his life.
You got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
He keeps referencing his ultimate desire to be a true hero, basically become an Avengers-level character. Be the hero who winds up on the Wheaties box. That is why if you've been going to see any movies in the last couple weeks, you've probably seen the Thunderbolts promos on the actual physical giant Wheaties boxes that they've been putting in theaters. Notice when the camera rotates around to show her inside his house, he's got an old Russian poster of himself from it looks like maybe like the 1980s, maybe even before that too, because it looks a little bit older. This is him in his original costume that we saw during the Black Widow movie. They haven't totally explained where he gets his newer costume from during this movie though. Maybe he picked that up at some point after the Black Widow movie. Originally, one of the ways this movie was being pitched is that it started life as a Black Widow 2 kind of sequel movie and then morphed into a Thunderbolts movie. They use his line from that conversation about saving people in the streets, basically doing all the things that normal superheroes would be doing, and they're making big callbacks to the original Avengers movie, a lot of the things that the Avengers did during that movie, during the Battle of New York, with the Thunderbolts later in the movie, after the Sentry winds up being the one to go off the rails, turn into the Void, then starts slowly destroying New York City again. Also using the line for the twist that Sentry is literally becoming a god, so to speak, when he turns into the Void here and then starts using his power to destroy New York City, pushing them into his Void realm. I keep using the anime comparison to Jujutsu Kaisen's domain expansion, where he basically pulls them into a Void space while he's in Void form. The Void personality has taken over his body. The way they deal with the Void personality in the comics is a little bit different, like they're visualizing it differently in this movie, but they are using a lot of visual comps and references to that Sentry's early 2000s run from the comics. For example, in this you see his watchtower on top of the Avengers Tower. Val has bought the Avengers Tower from Tony Stark, they confirmed during this movie, and renamed it to the Watchtower. Also in that run, you see him turn into the Void and start spreading his darkness over the city. That's basically what he's doing in live action here, where you see him, even though he's kind of blacked out with the way the light's on him.
The Avengers are not coming.
It's almost like he's using telekinesis in Void form to push them into his Void realm. That's what's happening when he's turning people into shadows here. He's pushing them into the Void. Not to be confused with the Void from the Loki series in Deadpool and Wolverine. There were a lot of questions about this on my last couple of videos. If you don't know the difference, the Void is an actual personality from the comics, but the Void itself, the way they've used it in the MCU so far, is also an actual physical space, like a world that's sort of a dumping ground for the multiverse. Then you see them on the street at ground level beneath the Avengers Tower, or the new Avengers Tower, or the Watchtower, whatever you want to call it, getting ready to rally, not quite sure what they're going to do next. This is probably before they decide to try and save everyone by going into the Void to stop Bob, aka Void and Sentry. We actually get a little voiceover from Bob when he's in Void form, speaking as the Void. Like you can kind of hear the way they flange his voice just a little bit, like a much boomier voice, saying, "I am the Void, it's useless to fight me," basically saying he's taking over the world now. My assumption is that he just seeks to pull everyone into the Void, like first New York City, then the rest of the world theoretically after that. Part of the idea, though, is that inside the Void, he has complete control over all reality in that space, sort of like WandaVision with the Hex, where she controlled all reality to a very fine detail inside it. Like she could do literally anything that she wanted inside the Hex. Sentry can do that inside the Void. Not totally sure when this scene of Val is happening. She does not look happy. She does not look surprised in a good way. This is probably after either the Thunderbolts escape or after Sentry goes off the rails and turns into the Void, and they're trying to deal with him. Like, how do we stop him? He's meant to be unstoppable, literally. That's the way we created him. Her speech about him being invincible, all-powerful, with the footage of him standing up, or meant to be from completely different parts of the movie. So basically, earlier she's hyping him up to other characters, like the whole congressional hearing at the beginning here, where she's trying to hype him up as being a replacement for the Avengers. But this point where he's standing up amidst the firing squad here, those bullets aren't going to do anything to him, just going to make him madder. Seems like it's happening early in the movie when everybody meets each other in that underground base where she created him and she tries to kill them off to get rid of them unsuccessfully. They all wind up escaping, including the Sentry.
Who will keep people safe?
You probably recognize this soldier here inside the helicopter that Sentry takes down. He's from True Blood. He's done a bunch of other HBO series too, but I think he's meant to be Val's #1 guy at the OXC group that she controls. OXC is where she gets all of her money from. They're basically using them kind of like a BlackRock military contractor inside the MCU. It's where she got enough money to literally buy the Avengers Tower from Tony Stark because it'd be hundreds of millions of dollars. You see the Sentry push him into the void, meaning that he might wind up surviving towards the end of the movie. When he says you don't know what I'm capable of, that might be him talking in void form to Val after he first goes off the rails. Like, she basically bills him as a god to the other Thunderbolts characters, like, you have no chance, he's a replacement for all of you, he's way better than all of you, and then suddenly he goes off the rails and it's like, oh wait a minute, that's not exactly what I wanted. Please don't destroy New York City, you're supposed to save it. Then he says, maybe I need to show you what I'm capable of, and that's probably when he starts pushing everybody into the void and then covering New York City in the void itself. Then you see her assistant on the phone saying the Avengers are gone, nobody's going to come and save us, and Bucky on the other side of the phone. It seems like this scene is happening during this where she's on the phone, where he says, we could be the people who wind up saving everyone, and that's when they come in to stop Val and try and stop the Sentry too. There are a couple other brand new scenes that we actually see during that behind the scenes featurette where you see Yelena Belova jumping off that giant building. It's meant to be the second tallest building in the world. You also see a couple scenes of them fighting the giant chicken behind the scenes too, which seems like it's happening inside the void when they're trying to save Bob. Like, you see Bob in the background of this other footage too, but he's in Bob form, not in void form. It seems like inside the void space, they all have to face like the worst versions and memories of themselves that have been anthropomorphized by the void personality, like their nightmares have taken physical form and they have to face them. And maybe one of their nightmares, like one of Bob's nightmares, is this giant chicken. Every time I see this giant chicken in the promos, all I can think of is the giant chicken from Family Guy. I think the real interesting thing, though, is what the post-credit scene is going to wind up being in this movie. Will it be like an Avengers Doomsday style post-credit scene, or will it just be them paying off a funny moment from earlier in the movie, which sometimes they have done in previous movies. Like, sometimes the post-credit scenes don't actually always set up the next big movie, but because we're so close to Avengers Doomsday, it feels like they can't do that anymore. Like, they actually have to start setting up Avengers Doomsday as much as possible. The closest I would say that this is connected to Avengers Doomsday is the new Avengers team. Like, who's going to be on that new Avengers team? Because they've been making all the Dark Avengers references to the Thunderbolts characters.
You're not Earth's mightiest heroes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the movie, the post-credit scene has something to do with Winter Soldier and Sam Wilson's Captain America talking about Avengers-related stuff and big threats, like needing to put an actual new team together. All this talk of power scaling will also be kind of moot once Doom becomes God Emperor Doom by Secret Wars, so we'll see how they deal with that in the live action. But if there's any other Easter eggs and references that you spotted in the brand new footage that I didn't talk about in this video or my previous videos, just write them below in the comments. And what I'll do is we get a little bit closer to the movie coming out, I'll start doing a ticket giveaway like I typically do for big Marvel movies. The other big thing that's happening this week is Punisher should be coming back real soon on Daredevil Born Again. There are only 2 episodes left. My next big episode 8 video will post on Wednesday for that. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everybody click here for my Fantastic Four CinemaCon trailer video, and click here for my brand new Superman CinemaCon trailer video too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.